Hi guys, welcome back to another of Isaac's special Kickstarter expedition scenarios. So this one obviously will be spoiler free. There'll be a couple of items from Higher Prosperities, but the whole story, the plot of it is completely unconnected from what you get in the main box. So just want to say a huge well done. The game has hit 3 million in funding, which is absolutely amazing. The number of people that are going to be getting this before the end of the year is just going to be an awesome thing. It's a wonderful community already, a lot of people sort of sharing stories and uh, lovely pictures of the game being played, pimped out with lots of furniture or custom painted models. But it'll be amazing to see the uplift that has when all these boxes hit shelves soon. Those poor shelves will be creaking. Um, Sadly, this is the penultimate scenario for this expedition, but with that 3 million threshold being hit, it does mean we're going to have at least 10 scenarios for the next expedition. You never know, the last 48 hours for a campaign often has a big spike. We may even sort of, as Isaac said, possibly split it into two if things get a little out of hand, but certainly something that's looking pretty good on the horizon. It's been a lot of fun. Obviously, you guys will have the whole box to play through this mini campaign, as well as the new one to look forward to. But I thought I'd do something a little special, a little treat for myself. I'm going to try and play 4 characters. Not something I've done before playing solo. I've brought along the Spell Weaver, which I've also never played. But it just fills the map out with a few more things to fight as well. A little bit more of the sort of thought process with it. Obviously, a lot of these characters are level 1, so our scenario difficulty will only be scenario difficulty 2, just bumped up because playing solo. But I'm going to read through the setup. I've not read through it myself yet. This sort of only hit about 40 minutes ago, so I just got the map out and got myself set up on the table ready to start as soon as possible. And then I'll sort of look through the decks, talk about what I'll take with me based on what we're trying to achieve in this scenario, give yourselves a little bit of an overview in terms of my thought process anyway. Obviously, it's not the only thing to bear in mind, but just what I think of when I'm deck building my initial hand. But this is, well, let's first find our last road event. We had quite a challenging encounter with the Doctor. He didn't have himself a TARDIS, he just had himself a mechanical bot without a toilet. We swiftly dispatched him, bit of an effort with the artillery, but we got through. So our road event after that. You silence the Doctor and then move quickly through the tunnels beneath the ruined keep. By keeping to the plan, you're able to remain undetected. Passing through secret walls and ascending hidden stairs, you are able to reach what Ashtooth identified as the Prophet's inner sanctum. You enter the main chamber to find the Orchid in white robes, surrounded by a number of guards. So, you have come to fight your freedom. Yes, she says. I will admit that you have me at a disadvantage. I did not expect you to come so far so quickly. Still, you were expected, and so I have a proposal for you. If you lead me to the mainlanders who are helping you, I will let you go and give you the location of the smuggler who enslaved you. If you insist on the destructive course set before you, however, your friend Barty will escape your grasp. And we were given a choice to either attack the Prophet or to make a deal. It was a reasonable runaway on the lead. 58% to 42 decided just to attack the Prophet, deal with the enemy in hand. I'm not sure I bear a huge grudge against Barty. We did betray him twice and then he poisoned us, so it was sort of inevitable. But if we find him, I'm not shy to kill him myself. So we've decided to attack the Prophet, which leads us on to the scenario 9, skewed perspective. Let's find to the latest scenario. You draw your weapons as the prophet rises to her feet and dusts off her robe. Again you surprise me, she says. I will give a warning. I know your capabilities. I know you are about to die. You should flee. The prophet moves faster than you expect and exits the room through a door in back, leaving you with her many guards. Okay, so a quick setup on this one. Our special rules. All cultists summon normal living spirits instead of normal living bones. So, in this scenario we have hounds, cultists and living spirits which they'll summon. So in terms of what we're going to face, let's take a look at these. The cultists, first of all, nothing unexpected about them. The normals with 7 hit points, the elite with 12. Their interesting mechanism comes mainly from their deck. They'll have many things that might sort of curse us, or worst of all, summon these living spirits. The living spirits, not particularly high with hit points, only 2 hit points for the normal, 3 hit points for the elite, but it's their shields that make them tricky. The shield will reduce the damage from any given attack. So shield of 2 on the normals, shield of 3 on the elites makes them quite tricky, and they're ranged, dealing quite sizable attacks. But there's none in this initial room. What we have to deal with first of all are the hounds. 6 and 7 hit points are not a huge difference between the normal or the elite. The elites move 1 faster and hit 1 harder, and the nuance with them is the fact they have retaliate. So anytime we attack them at melee range, since it doesn't specify this attacks back at range would have to be adjacent, if the hound survives we're going to take a retaliate damage or 2 from them. So ideally we'd want to be dealing range damage to the hounds. The living spirits just need a big damage or something that's going to pierce through their shield. So let's have a look. First of all we have the Cragheart, which we've been playing through. We're going to take our kinetic assault, move on top and attack 4, just very powerful, and along with that blunt force, attack 4 which can consume earth for another +4. Those 2 are definitely coming. Low initiative for the Cragheart is always a nice one to take, so we'll take this one as well. It's a decent attack, attack 3 targeting all adjacent enemies, which could be made to attack all enemies at range 2 instead by consuming earth. Solid attack 3, which doesn't get lost. This lets us add a target to our next ranged attack, so again just increases the damage we can deal in any given time. So we'd take that. Disarm is always useful. Disarm means that they can't make an attack on their turn, so that can really stop them from doing something quite nasty. Other than that, what should we do? We'll take a heal. Heal 4 at range 2, that's quite a decent heal, and top or bottom we're generating earth, so that'd be handy for synergies with our other abilities. That makes 7 cards. Attack 3 at range 3, so a decent ranged attack that also generates earth and deals damage. Can be our 8th card. This muddle ability, targeting all enemies, it's good to mitigate some damage. Nothing that's going to pierce through shield, but heaving swing deals 2 damage and you can push a target into an obstacle. That then means they suffer 2 damage. That's just a straight up 2 damage. So with the living spirits, the shield won't affect it. So it's just going to go straight through. Then we've got a few options. We could destroy an obstacle that then attacks and targets all adjacent enemies. That could be useful. We've got a little attack which could immobilize at range. We've got an attack that could immobilize in melee attack. I think we're just going to take another decent swing and attack 4, targeting 2. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 for the crag heart. Mainly focusing around getting some ranged attacks in and getting the option to add additional targets. We've got a lot of targets in this first room, so I want to just take them down as quick as possible. Mind Thief gets 10 cards. Let's have a look. I have played the Mind Thief. Let's look at the augments first of all and decide which of those look good to bring along. So Muddle and Poison, heal self, +2 attack or gain shield. We'll always bring the +2 attack along. Heal 2 self, probably not. Muddle and Poison could be useful against single targets. These are all on melee attacks, so ideally we want to focus. Can bring this one along. There's a stun attack on the bottom which generates ice. Stun is very useful. Is there any invisible self? That could be very good to set ourselves up for an opportune situation, or just get in and do an attack but then get out of trouble. We summon the Rat Swarm. It's just another attack, 6 hit points, deals 2 damage and also poisons. A move on the top, which can do an attack 1, ignore the enhancement on this, but with the right augment, that's very useful as well. So that's 6 cards. There's another attack, which can then use ice to stun. And we take a couple. So first of all, hostile takeover to immobilize an enemy at range, that creates ice. And it can force an elite enemy within range 3 to perform its round as if its allies were enemies and enemies were friends. And then an attack 4, range 5, which also disarms. It's a lost card, but a move and heal at the bottom and a decent disarming attack on the top to make 9 cards. So we have one more we can take. We could either take a decent rolling card, or we could take one big attack 6. I think we'd take another low initiative card that's got just a little attack on the top. Attack 2, push 3. The other option was one adjacent ally may perform an attack 6, which is very strong, but with only 10 cards, I prefer not to take too many more lost cards. So that was my only thinking with that one. The attack 6 would be very good to get through shields. Against the living spirits, the elite ones have 3 shield and 3 hit points, so it would be immediately enough to deal with that. But we're somewhat limited with a Mind Thief. I didn't want to go too crazy with lost cards for him. He's got to be a little bit careful with what he's bringing along. So that's hopefully a decent 10 for the Mind Thief. The Mind Thief does have the Necklace of Teeth that we picked up in an earlier scenario. Anytime we kill an enemy during their turn, we'll gain a hit point. Then we've got the Spellweaver. The Spellweaver's got one card which you can't not bring along as far as I can see. You've got Reviving Ether. The top ability of this is to recover all of your lost cards. So when you get down to having played all of your cards, you can still get them straight back through Reviving Ether, giving you basically twice your stamina. So that's got to come along. We're going to want to deal fairly sizable damage, but that's not really the wheelhouse of the Spellweaver. But Crackling Air, the top ability to add 2 to the next 4 attacks, is pretty strong. Add 2 if you consume wind, or just add 1. But we bring that along. It is possible for the Spellweaver to create wind. So you've got a move 8 lost card at the bottom, but it generates wind. So that could combo very well with Crackling Air. I like the Mystic Ally. It's only got 2 hit points and attacks at range 2, but it does deal an attack 3 and just follows along around behind. So if used well, that could be just a lot of extra attacks for us, as long as we keep it alive during the game. This is just a decent attack on the top and the bottom. Attack 2 on the bottom at range 2 and attack 3 at range 3. Attack 3 at range 2 on the top, which also wounds. Frost Armor makes us immune to damage, so we can get in there and ignore 2 attacks and then use some of the closer abilities, or indeed something like the Freezing Nova. Comes straight after creating ice with our Frost Armor. You could run in there, target all adjacent enemies and immobilize them, and do a 3 damage attack. It's not a lost card with that one. So I think I'll bring it along, and I'll bring the Mana Bolt, which is just another attack 2, range 3, consume an element for an attack 3, and a heal at the bottom, but a very low initiative on that. So we're going to leave behind our Fire Orbs and Impaling Eruption, which hit multiple targets, but are lost cards, and the Hardened Spikes, which is lost to give us Retaliate. Again, just trying to minimize the amount of lost cards for the Spellweaver, because he's a little more limited in cards. He's got 2 lost actions would be to summon out a shield, the Mystic Ally, make the attack, so I don't want to have too many more. Tinkerer, so we're going back away to classes that carry a lot of cards. The Tinkerer can take 12. He's got a lot of nice options for how he's going to get built. We want some nice area of effect damage, so we've got things like the Net Shooter. Targets 3 hexes in a cluster at range 3. Really good. You've got the Flamethrower, which also wounds and has a melee option on that. And the Ink Bomb, another triangle. So that's 3 cards we're going to bring. The fourth one would be the Poison Shot, which also creates Earth. It's useful with that, since I've got the Crag Heart to be able to create it nice and early. I'm going to take these 2 as quick initiative cards as well. One is a heal action, one is just a recurring attack and stun. Again, ignore the enhance I put on this to wound. It is effectively just a attack 1 which stuns, but can be very useful. I think that was, what, 6 cards? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so we're halfway there. Attack 3 at range 3, but also enhancing all adjacent allies to add +1 to their attacks this round. Two attack 2s. we'll go for another heal. So we'll take 3 more. This is a double loss card, but it might get us out of a tight situation, or it can just give us a move 2 using the bottom at a low initiative. Hook gun might be a good option just to pull towards some melee characters. Attack 2 at range 3 with pull, and then 1 more. I'll take a bottom action for a heal as well. So a lot of heals with this character. Gives us a decoy. Might get that out as well as another ally, but might not be needed. If we're not moving anywhere, if he's just sitting back and shooting at range, that heal could be very useful. So that's 12 then. Perfect. So do I want to change the setup for these guys? I think considering how things look, I'm going to start by giving a +1 and using my net shooter to go nice and quickly. So if I go quick enough, I could give a +1 to all my allies as well. So if I move these around, if the crag heart is there, he could get the bonus as well, as long as he goes slower than a 19. Hey Phil, good to see you back. Just deciding on first set of cards. I'm playing along with 4 characters, so let's see if I keep track of this all. So we're going to go with a 19. I want to go nice and quick to try and get some damage in as early as possible before these guys will start wailing on me. Don't have an overly quick option for the crag heart. So I think I'll use the bottom action of this just to move out in front. Yeah, Phil, I'm looking forward to this. I haven't played with half this many characters before, so that would probably be the trickiest part for me, is keeping track of or strategizing and getting them all in the right order. But could be interesting. The cultists are very annoying when they summon living bones, let alone summoning living spirits. So could be very interesting playing around with this and seeing how it all goes. I think we'll go with the Dirt Tornado. It would be an attack 2 on all of them, or I could go slower and use this bottom action. But I think going out in front and retaliating and then doing an attack 2 would set us in a good spot. And then we're going just after the Tinkerer on a 21. The Mind Thief, probably want him to go fairly slowly so he can summon out the Rat Swarm. So that can just start attacking early next turn. So the top action there, summon Rat Swarm, 6 hit points, 1 movement, so very slow. They're not going to join in for much of the scenario, but they could really help in this first room. And 2 attack. So pretty decent attack, pretty decent hit points, and they also poison. So that's an 82. That might be enough to just go very slowly by themselves. He's not actually next to the Tinkerer, but I assume something's going to move up. So this attack 1 at the bottom, which stuns and generates ice, could put us in a good position then for next turn. We'd have ice out. We could do an attack that's going to make good use of that. But we'll go slowly so we can see how things set up. So he's going to be on an 82. Then we've just got the Spellweaver. I think the Spellweaver is going to do quite similar. I'd like to get as many friends out as early as possible. So the Mystic Ally could come out for us as well. So I'm not generating any wind, but the Cragheart does have a mana potion. So I may create wind, so straight away I can use Crackling Air to add +2 to my next attacks. And then from next turn, he can just sort of go a little wild with the damage he's dealing. So we'll go on a 91. So again, he won't be the focus unless I want to do an attack this round. No, I think I'll set those 2 actions up. So it is 2 lost cards straight away, but that's our order of initiative. We've got a 19, 21, 82, 91. That should work quite well. Let's have a look at the cultists. 31, move, -1, and then they're healing. Okay. The hounds, attack -1 with pierce, then move -2, and then attack -1 with pierce. Okay. So it would be Tinkerer, Cragheart, Cultist, Hounds, then Mind Thief. So first of all, we're going to go +1 for ourselves and all adjacent allies on attacks this round. And we'll use our net shooter. So the net shooter will be an attack of 4. And we'll target, let's see, the hounds have, the elite hound has 7 hit points, and these cultists have 12. Okay, so we'll attack the cluster over here. So hound number 6, first of all, +1, so 5 damage. And then against cultist number 1, also +1. And then cultist number 5, -2. 2 damage. And those are all immobilized, which is pretty good. It's a lost card, but the Tinkerer will gain 3 experience. And this enhancement field will stay in our active area, so +1 for all adjacent allies' attacks, which is going to be the Cragheart now. He's going to move forward, and for the rest of this round, he has Retaliate 1 on South. We'll move to here, so he's the focus for this other hound. Otherwise, the focus would have been the Tinkerer. He's still adjacent to the Tinkerer, so he still gets the bonus for the enhancement field. We've then got range 1, attack 2 with the bonus, which muddles And we'll go in the middle here. And then we can attack all 5. Yeah, we should then be able to kill the hound. Problem is the cultists are all going to start healing each other. There's not much else I could do other than that. Actually, I'm going to target here and attack this X before we move. So it's an attack of 2. We'll use our eagle-eye goggles for advantage. So first of all against the hound, +1 or -1, so it's going to be 3 damage on the hound, which is what we wanted. That's enough to kill hound number 6. Against cultist number 1, 3 damage. Against cultist number 5, 4 damage. And against elite cultist number 6, 3 damage. And a muddle on 1, 5 and 6, which isn't totally relevant since they aren't making an attack this turn. We'll mark it anyway. So again, this retaliate will stay in an active area. This card is just discarded. So that was pretty good. We've killed 1. They are healing at range, but let's see how that plays out. First, the elite cultist will move forward. Oh, sorry, I forgot to. We'll move 2 to there. Elite cultist moves forward. And then at range 3, the most injured person, number 1, 1, 2, 3, heals 3. Okay. Number 5 is immobilized. So then the most injured person next to him is himself, so that will come off. Oh, sorry. Let's put that back on. It should have been number 1 healed number 5. Number 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We'll heal number 5. Number 4 heals number 1. And then number 5 heals number 6. So after all that, we've only got 2 hit points damage left on them. So that was a bit of a shame. Then the hound makes its first attack, and then it moves, and then it makes its next attack at a -1, so this is an attack 2. 1 damage for our Cragheart. And the Cragheart has retaliate 1, so hound number 2 will take 1 damage back. Okay. After them, oh, so I forgot on the Cragheart's turn we were planning to make wind as well, weren't we, for the Spellweaver? So we'll go ahead and do that. We've got attack 1, range 2 and stun. So we're going to stun the elite cultist. Attack of 1 +0. 1 damage on number 6. And a stun. Generates ice and gains an XP. Oh, Cragheart should have gained an XP as well. And then we're going to gain 2 XP for summoning our rat swarm out. So we'll put the rat swarm, it's got a movement of 1. So we'll put it there so it's already in the action. For another 2 XP. Spellweaver is then going to use the wind for crackling air. So this means then on the next 4 attacks we've got a +2 attack from our Spellweaver. So mark that down, and he as well is going to summon out a Mystic ally. So we've got a couple of friends in the fight now. And that gets 2 XP for Spellweaver. Yeah, I think this is going to be quite a tricky scenario to get through. Challenging setup in the first room. I'm hoping the cultists don't summon anything. There's still 5 cultists. One of them is stunned. But the cultists I'm certainly worried about. I'm going to try and go as early as I can with the Spellweaver and the Mind Thief now to get their summons to perform in this. We want to get this augment out, our +2 attack augment. So then we just need to find a nice and quick attack on the top. We could go on a 9. It's an attack 2 at range, which means, the bottom action. So we'll just use that as a move 2 and then an attack 3. Or we could go on a 14 and go invisible, but then we're not adjacent to anything. So I think we'll just go on a 9. So that will get the rat in on the action. And we can move up and make an attack. Spellweaver has a 7. So that will put our Mystic ally nice and early in proceedings. And then we've got a bottom attack 2 and a top attack 2. At the moment, at range 2, we have 2 viable targets, so that's not the end of the world. And they will be bumped up to attack 4 and attack 5. So that's very good. The ice is waning. Let's go with that option. So go on a 7. So we're getting a couple of nice strong attacks in very early. So the Cragheart, we've got a couple of options with him. It's probably good if he doesn't lose a card. So we've got move 1, attack 4 on a 19, so nice and early. So that can also combo extremely well with this +2 to all your melee attacks this round. So if need be, this could be an attack 6 with a move 1 beforehand. That's assuming that there's something still alive after the other 2 guys have gone. The Tinkerer, he could just go slowly and look to heal. He could sneak in just before the Cragheart and get a poison down. or a couple of little attacks, or he could pull. That might be interesting. 1, 2. So probably have to move. But that could set us up very well if needed. If we go on a 17, we've then got hook gun, so we could move forward and pull one of these cultists towards the Cragheart if they weren't dead, or we could just target something and pull them into us to move focus away from one of the other guys. So that doesn't seem too bad. That leaves us really nice and early with all three, a 9, a 7, a 17 and a 19. So a good bit of symmetry with that. Okay, we'll go with that. The hounds, or the hound singular, is on a 26. The cultists are at 27. Okay, so that does split the focus of our summons. First of all, the Spellweaver. So the Mystic Ally, same distance away from the cultist and hound. He will focus the hound as the earlier initiative. So this is an attack 3, 4. Puts the hound up to 5 damage. Then we have an attack 2 at range 2, which is an attack 4. And we will focus the hound. +1 kills the hound and gets an XP. And then the top action, we're going to consume the ice to make it an attack 3, attack 5, and gain an XP and another XP. Attack 5, -1, 4 damage. Number 6 puts him up to 5 damage, and he is still stunned. So both those cards are just discarded. I do have a stamina potion. I may just get them straight back. Oh well, pretty nice combo. So then the Mind Thief, the Rat Swarm first, so they do an attack 2. 2 damage and a poison. The cultists were moving and attacking. They attack on a 1 for the normal, so it's not the worst, but there's a lot of them who would hit. I'm going to put the Okay, I think we are back and rolling. Sorry about that. I guess I probably should have closed down the laptop after doing the scenarios early this evening. I don't know, just stropping on me. But I don't think I'd got any further than this. I was just deciding what to do with the Mind Thief, and I think we're going to go on a little suicide mission. We're going to use this as a move of 2, and then we'll play out our augment. So then our augment is on attacks, add +2, on melee attack even, add +2 attack, and gives us an attack of 1 for 1 XP. So this will be an attack of 3 because of the augment. Attack of 4 because the target is poisoned. 4 damage on him. Leaves him 1 health away from being dead. So that's a little shame, but he is stunned, so that's not too bad. Cool, yeah, seems like we're up and running. I'm going to have to download the videos and stitch them together just to make things easier. Otherwise that video is going to be a blank screen for about 7 minutes while I'm setting up, and then about 7 minutes of video. Okay, so next would be Tinkerer. We do still have an enemy that's alive, but he only has 1 hit point. So I think I'm going to move 2 and heal 1 on all adjacent allies, but no one's been hurt yet. And then do an attack 2 at range 3 and pull. And I'm going to target cultist number 4 to pull him onto this coin. So attack of 2, -1, 1 damage on cultist 4, and pull him 2. Just so that the Cragheart can make full effect for his attack. Who is next? So we've got add +2 attack to all your melee attacks this round. And then this move 1 attack 4. So it's going to be an attack of 6. Number 4, there's no reason to do anything different. So attack of 6, rolling wind, ×2. So that would be 12 damage, which will well and truly finish him off. And we've generated wind. Useful to know. I forgot those are in there, but we want wind for this particular character because the Stormblade we picked up, we can consume wind to add +2 attack to a single attack when we're doing a melee. So that can be very useful. I'm doing 4 characters. I'm doing Spellweaver, Mind Thief, Tinkerer, and Cragheart. They just all happen to go in before the enemies, so just to give myself a wealth of things to confuse myself with. We've killed all the hounds. They would be next. Then it's the cultist. The elite cultist is stunned, so that will just come off. And then we have cultist number 1. He will move to here. This is the closest hex he can get to from which he can form an attack. In this round they are just attacking with a +0, so this is an attack of 2 and a miss. This guy will move 1, 2, which is their full movement, and he will attack the Tinkerer with an attack 2 +1, 3 damage on the Tink. And then this guy will move 1, 2, and attack 2 against the Mind Thief, 2 damage. Okay. So we'll go fairly early with the Mind Thief and go invisible just to keep him safe. He's down to 5 hit points. He's lost 2 hit points, but if he does make a kill, he will gain a hit point back. Don't know why I have my battle goals face down, just to keep things difficult for myself. I'm not keeping them secret from anyone else, so let's put them face up. I think I'm just going to use my other augment as an attack 2 this round, but that would be attack 4. just because it's not a particularly good card on its own. I think the other cards I will use for their own purposes. So I may as well use the augment when I don't need the initiative number. So that's a 14. The Spell Weaver, I had the same 2 cards come back into hand. So I'm just going to play the same again. Attack 2, range 2 at the bottom of Flame Strike, and attack 2, range 3 on the top of Mana Bolt. Those will each get a bonus of +2 attack from our Crackling Air. Our Cragheart does have wind that he can use this turn. So we'll go nice and early with an attack 3 that pushes, but it would be an attack 5 which pushes and deals 2 damage. That should be enough to finish off one of these guys on a 13 initiative. We just use the bottom of this initiative card for a movement. Tinkerer. Where is Tink? Tink's hiding off on the side here. If we go early enough, we're not taking much damage. So I could get another stun in, but Tinker is probably going to go through into the next room. So I think this Energizing Tonic, simply for its initiative, 16 to put us early, and we'll go with a card that we're unlikely to want to burn straight away. We'll go with the Summon Decoy card, and we'll just use basically the 2 cards as a base movement of 2 and an attack of 2. Not very adventurous with that. But then we've got a 7, a 13, 14 and 16. So good and early again. And hopefully we can finish off the 4 remaining cultists. 27. So they've been pretty much the same initiative number. 31, 27, 27. We've been able to go quick enough to just get in ahead of them. So first is the Spell Weaver, which means the Mystic ally would attack the Elite. So an attack of 3, down to 2, but up to 3 because the poison is enough to kill the Elite. He only had 1 hit point left. We've now only got 1 target within range with our 2 attacks. So we'll probably use the bottom of one of these as a movement. So I could do an attack 3 at range 2 or an attack 2 at range 3. I think we'd do an attack 3 at range 2, attack 3 against cultist 3. Four damage. And then we've got a movement of 2. He's just going to move. We'll just move up 1, I think, to there. Not particularly adventurous with that. Then a 13 from the Cragheart. We have attack 3, which also pushes, and we're going to use our Stormblade to consume the wind, so it's an attack 5 which pushes, but we needed to shuffle. -1, so 4 damage. Kills him anyway. then he's just going to move up and collect that mountain of loot, so 3 coins. I think he's earned that. The Mind Thief. So first our rat will move up here, and it's going to attack number 5. Oops, I took the wrong stack off, didn't I? So an attack of 2, which also poisons. 1 damage and a poison. So we were just planning a move to attack 2. So we'll go invisible on our Mind Thief. And we do an attack 2, which is attack 4 on number 5. +0, but +1 because the poison is enough to kill him. So the Mind Thief is invisible. He won't be the target anyway. But our Tinkerer, oh, Mind Thief gets a hit point back as well for the kill. Our Tinkerer is unlikely to kill this guy. And then he's going to get an attack 2 back, which does leave him slightly weaker. But we'll go for it. He's going to use his boots just to get closer to the end objective, getting through that door. And we'll do an attack 2. -1, just the 1 damage on him. Okay. Discarded. I think we'll probably use our stamina potion to get a couple of cards back for the Tinkerer. So then it is the Cultist. He is adjacent to the Tinkerer. He's adjacent to the Mind Thief, but the Mind Thief's invisible. So Tinkerer takes 1 damage. Okay, so not bad. We've only got 1 Cultist left. And then we're going to go bursting through the door to see what is in the next room. If we want our summons to start getting in on the action, they're going to have to go pretty early. If our Mind Thief makes it to the door, he's invisible, so that could be interesting. Just to block the way. But he'd have to short rest in order to get that. Even then, if there's any living spirits in the next room, they have range anyway, so it would be less effective. So let's see, we probably want Tinkerer just to heal up a bit of his wounds. He's down to 4 hit points. So he could go slowly, give himself the option of an attack at range. Cragheart is still pretty healthy, so you may want to move into that doorway. Actually, first I think he wants to set up for his range attacks. So we'll probably do this. On the next 4 ranged attack actions, gain added target. And just to move 2. Or we could move 2 and generate Earth if we wanted to. Spellweaver. Go on a 20 and just get it there. Probably do an attack 2 if the guy isn't already dead. Not used. So we got a 20, the Mind Thief, he's invisible, he doesn't really care what's going on. Here go on an 11, nice and early. You've got a move heal on the bottom and then a move and an attack on the top, but he's still invisible, so it would be nice and safe for him to do so. Cultist, a 39, move, attack and heal. So we're going to have 2 options before then. First of all, the Mind Thief on the 11, so the rat is going to move up 1, does an attack of 2, -2, so it just puts a poison on the cultist. So we'll move first of all which way around should we do it? We'll move 3, 1, 2, 3 first of all, and do an attack 1, attack 3, 4 because of the poison, attack 5, kills the cultist. And then we've got move 2, heal 2. He does already heal 1 from the kill. Go back up to full health, but then we'll open the door with 1 movement. And we've still got 1 more movement if we need it. So you open the back door and see the prophet at the end of a long hallway. I can see the many futures you hold, she calls out to you. The many paths you could have taken, but you have made the wrong choices. Your path you are on leads you to your death. I will show you. The prophet raises a hand and your vision goes blurry. The hallway before you feels off kilter and your head spins. You lose your balance and fall to your knees, watching in horror as the scene in front of you vibrates and splits apart. The hallway slowly becomes 2 hallways heading off in different directions. The prophet stands simultaneously at the ends of both. Turn back or die, she says, and then disappears behind the doors at the end of the halls. So she is simultaneously in 2 places, which doesn't sound overly good for us. We may have bitten off more than we intended with this. So we have an elite living spirit here and an elite living spirit here. We have a normal living spirit here and here. And then we have 3 elite hounds. 1, 2, and 3. So the hounds, just a move and attack. The living spirits, move, curse, target all enemies within range. So that's pretty horrific on a 55. The hounds have a lot of movement, so I think we'll stick should we stick one? No, we're going to move back one because then only one can get in the doorway since I'm about to lose my invisible, aren't I? Now, yeah, that's gone. So, living spirits move 4 and the elites have a range of 4, so they're going to chuck out a lot of curses, so that's pretty terrible. So coming up next on a 20 will be the Spellweaver. So the Mystic Ally moves forward 2. Then we have move 4 jump. We move 1, 2, 3, 4. And do an attack. 2 at range 3 against number 2, which will gain a +2, so this is attack 4 on a miss. Uses the last charge of crackling air. Gains us an XP. So that was unfortunate. Not much can be done with that. Then the Cragheart on 29. Nope, the hounds are next. So number 2 moves up. 1, 2. And he's making an attack of 3 against the Mind Thief. 4 against the Mind Thief. Ouch. The other 2 won't move because they do not have a hex they can focus from which they could make an attack. So the Cragheart, we were just going to set up our ammunition. So we do that. I think he's just going to back away. 1 to generate earth, but also to get out of range of all these curses which will be coming in. And he's going to use his stamina potion to get some cards back. Okay. So then it's the living spirits. We have number 1. We'll move 1, 2, 3. So then he can curse everyone here and generates ice. So that's a curse for the Mind Thief, 2 for the Mind Thief, 2 for the Spellweaver, 1 for the Tinkerer. This one will do the same. So this is going to be catastrophic later on for us. These guys have a move of 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I need to sleeve up a lot more curses. This is the most I've ever encountered. So let's see how many this ends up with. That's 1 more, 1 more, and 1 more. And then 1, 2, 3. Another one here. Another one down here. And 1 more for luck. So on the plus side, if they draw that ability again, there aren't that many curses left to give out because these are finite. There are 4 remaining curses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the Mind Thief. Shuffle those in. Yeah, 4 for the Tinkerer and 6 for the Spellweaver. So 16 of 20 curses dished out in one round by these living spirits. So they've not dealt us damage, but they're certainly going to give themselves a lot more survivability because of that. Then it's our Tinkerer, last but not least. So he's going to do a heal 2 on the Mind Thief. Actually, yeah, heal 2 on the Mind Thief. And then attack 2 at range 3. We will attack the elite number 1. 4. They have a shield of 3, so 1 damage. I didn't think we were going to deal any damage. 1 damage and a poison just reduces their shield ability, and that generates earth, which was already there. Okay, so this could be quite dire. I think we're going to just move up as quick as we can and muddle all these guys. The earth element is there, so we can add a +1 to the attack. And just use the 13 as a quick initiative, and to move up it's going to waste one of our charges on backup ammunition because we're going to hit everyone we could hit anyway. Actually, the other option would be to use our volatile bomb on the massive boulder. So we could then hit 3 targets with the backup ammunition, each of which would deal 1 damage to the people adjacent to them, which isn't terrible because that will go through shields. And that's range 3. So we could end up dealing quite a lot of damage. Yeah, we'll go with that actually. With backup ammunition and volatile bomb, that affects quite a few people, so that's pretty good. Let's save the other one. Now the Tinkerer also has a volatile bomb. But I think he's going to want to just do an attack and get out of there. I think on a 17, a move 2, heal 1 on all adjacent allies, attack 1 and stun. Spellweaver is going to jump into the action, so we're going to 21. We could go really slowly, but I think if we jump in on the action, we could hit effectively everything at a 3 and use our goggles. The living spirits are quite weak. It would be after the Cragheart's gone. Problem is the Spellweaver may die if they don't all die. Let's see what the Mind Thief has. An attack with push and then a move. Or an attack with stun and then a move and attack. We'll go as slow as we can. Because these living spirits aren't likely to move. And if they've already had their attacks, then the Spellweaver should be safe, I think. And that's probably a safer option. Or we could just run in there and try and kill them before they attack. We've got a lot of curses to get through as well. We'll be brave. Fortune favours them, so I hear. So we'll go on a 21. We're going to jump move right into the middle of the action, use the frost, immobilise all adjacent enemies to us, and attack them. It's going to be suicide, isn't it? But we'll give it a go. 21. So the hounds are a 6. A move, attack, immobilize. The living spirits a 48. So the hounds will be first, and they will target the tinkerer of the people they're adjacent to, which will go first. So this is an attack of 3, attack of 1, and immobilize on the tinkerer. And then the other 2 hounds don't have a target, so actually that worked out pretty well for us. Then it's the Cragheart. We're going to move 4. No, we're not. We're going to move 2 with the bottom of this card. Just move up to here. And then we're going to use our volatile bomb to make it attack in a triangle, and we'll attack these 2. And then we've got add 1 target, and we're going to target this guy. No, we'll target number 2. So we're targeting 1, 2, and 4, generating Earth, which was already there. So we'll target number 1 first of all, plus 2. So that's an attack 5, 6 because of the poison, which kills him. And that will deal 1 damage to number 4, and 1 damage to Hound 2. We've then got the same attack 3 against number 2, plus 2 in a muddle, so 5 against number 2 and a muddle. And then actually we're going to target number 6 based on how that's worked out. Another plus 2, very good. So that actually kills number 6. And that's going to deal 1 more damage to number 2. Oh, I put the damage on there rather than his shield should have taken some off, but he should have 1 hit point left. The damage will kill him. And 1 damage on Hound number 5. So, Unstable Upheaval really helped us out there. Massive Boulder with the cascading damage. Very useful getting through their shields. Then it's going to be our Tinkerer. He is immobilized, so he can't move away, so he's going to use this action. Can't use the move, he's going to just use the heal. Heal 1, affecting all adjacent allies, because he is actually adjacent to everyone right now. And then, instead of the attack 1, he's just going to do an attack 2. No, we'll do attack 1 with disadvantage. It's only an attack 1. The main reason we want it is for the stun anyway. Oh, actually, 1, 2, 3. No, we're going to do it against number 4 because he's the only one who's not gone. So attack 1 against number 4. Hopefully a curse. Nope, 2. Doesn't get through. Number 4, Living Spirit, is stunned though, so at least no one else is attacking us this turn. And that's the Tinkerer done. 21. So next will be the Spellweaver. Mystic Ally will move up 2, so he gets within range. This is an attack 2, plus 1, 3 on Hound 2. So the suicide option with the Spellweaver possibly isn't as needed anymore. If he does go in there though, well, the Elite Hounds do also have Retaliate 2, which is a problem. There's not a huge amount of guys to attack anymore. But we're gonna... I don't think it's worth losing a card just to move in there. So we'll use attack 2 targeting all adjacent, using the ice to make it an attack 3. We use our goggles. Hopefully we can kill him. And then we won't get the retaliate. There's a miss and a curse. So we will take 2 retaliate damage. Immobilize him, and then we're going to back away 2 rather than using this move of 8. I think he needs to rest on his turn. Phil, have I considered using dice instead of damage tokens? It works okay. If things are quite weak and there's a lot of them, they don't tend to have many hit points, so you don't need to stack too many counters. If there are a lot of hit points, there doesn't tend to be too many in a scenario. So if you just space the numbers out well enough, it doesn't cause too much of a headache. Dice works fine. I just don't have a lot of dice to use for it, so I'm quite happy using the tokens. Still Mind Thief to go next. So let's see. I could do an attack and push, but that would open us up a lot more. But the attack and stun is, it's an attack 5, it's likely just to kill him anyway. So I think I'm going to do is attack 3, which is attack 5, gets a miss. A lot of misses coming up, and they're not even the curses. I've got 16 curses, and the 2 cards I draw are my own misses. How is that fair? I've still got a stamina potion for this guy. Do I want to lose a card? Actually, I know the Rat Swarm would have moved up, but he can't. I do have the option of a move 4, attack 2, but literally it's just using it as an attack to kill this guy. So I don't think I'll bother. I'll use my stamina potion to get a couple of cards back. We should be able to do something at our next turn. Nice enough anyway. Okay. So the only people left to go is the living spirits, but the only remaining one is stunned, so that stunned comes off and that wanes. Okay. Cragheart's not got a lot he can do. I think we're going to let an adjacent ally recover all their discarded cards. Cragheart's going to be close to needing to do that anyway, so I could do that next turn. It doesn't need to be this turn. So we're going to move up and chuck out a couple of attacks. The Spellweaver's long resting. So go on an 8 for the Mind Thief. We've got our range stun and a move 3 attack 1 on the top. Yeah, we'll go as quick as we can. We haven't really got much we can do with these guys at the moment. Just because all the characters are running very low on cards. But we've got an 8, a 34, a 53, and a 99 for the Spellweaver. So the Living Spirit, move, attack, and muddle on a 22. The Hounds, a 19, move, attack, and add +2 if adjacent to any of the Hound's allies. So we'll be first. The Hound has 3 hit points left. So we're going to use the top action just as an attack 2, which would be attack 4. After we've shuffled. -2, so it survives with 1 hit point remaining. So we use the bottom action, attack 1, range 2, stun, create ice as disadvantage, +2 or -1, so no damage and stunned. Now the Mind Thief will take 2 retaliate from the melee attack he did, and 2 from a ranged attack. So he's not looking particularly comfortable with his existence at the moment. Then we have the living spirit. So he will target him for ×2. So we have to discard 2 cards, which is quite annoying. Okay. Because the hounds couldn't go. The front one is stunned and also immobilized, but stunned. So we didn't go. The other hounds then have no focus, so they will stay where they are. Tinkerer has attack 2, range 3, target 2. So we'll do attack 2 against the living spirit first of all. +1, so that's 3. Goes down to 1 damage, but that's enough to finish him off. And then disadvantaged, a curse and a -1. And then he's going to move 1, 2 to there just to get out of the way, because he is down to 1 hit point after the retaliate damage. Then it's going to be the Cragheart. So attack 3, range 3. Goes to 2, which is finally enough to get that hound out the door, and then he's just going to move onto it to claim the loot once again. Consuming the earth for a push, now that it made a difference. And then the Mystic Ally will move up, but can't get into the room. The Spellweaver will lose a card, but recover 2 hit points. We'll lose our move 8. Okay, so we've got a fair bit of healing that needs to be done. Mind Thief is going to take a short rest at the end of the turn. And then carry on. So Cragheart only has 2 cards he can play. So he's going pretty slowly on a 75. He would have gained an XP as well from adding a target, which he couldn't do. Nothing else was in range, but we'll go on a 75. The Tinkerer has very little options. He could heal and shield himself, basically, or heal and move up. Or have an ally recover with their discarded cards if they end adjacent to him. So that might be no, Cragheart can't go before him, so that can't happen this round anyway. But we'll go on a 37, that's the quickest he can go. Spellweaver, you probably want the Mystic Ally getting in there, not being left alone. So what could the Mind Thief do? You can move 2, heal 2. You can move and stun one of them and attack the other.
What?
So go on an 8.
I'm not gonna do that.
Spellweaver's then got move 4, jump. He's generating ice, so if the Spellweaver goes before him, which he can do, he could use that ice and jump in there, and they can both get some early attacks on one of them and stun the other one. That should be fine. That will hopefully give us a bit of breathing space. We've got a 7, an 8, and then a 37 and a 75. We've only got hounds. They're going to shuffle. Their attack deck needs to shuffle. Hounds are on a 7, so they are the same as the Spellweaver actually, which is a bit of a shame, because they will go after the Spellweaver before the Mind Thief. Okay, Spellweaver needs to shuffle. Attack modifier, still a lot of curses in that. Tinkerer's still going strong. Cragheart's still going as well. Okay, so first will be the Spellweaver, which means the Mystic Ally will move 2 and target number 5. -1, so 2 damage on Hound 5. Then Spellweaver itself can move 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Attack 2, range 3. We're going to use the ice to make it an attack 3 on number 5. We use our goggles for advantage. A miss and a 0, so 3 damage on number 5. Leaves him with 1 hit point remaining. That's a shame, but we've avoided our miss. Once again, not a curse card. And then it's going to be the Hound. So number 5 will move up. And it does an attack against the summon. It'll be an attack 2 because of the -1. Oh no, they're not doing an attack. They're just moving, target all adjacent enemies and muddle. So they'll try and target 2 and try and target 2. Okay, that's not too bad. The Spellweaver is muddled, the Mystic Ally is muddled, and the Cragheart is muddled. But that was probably about as good as we could have got from that. Okay. Then it is the Mind Thief. So the rats will move up 1 more. Then we have a move 3, attack 1. So we go 1, 2, 3, and attack number 6. This is an attack 1, but our augment we've still got out, so an attack of 3, a curse, so nothing, and then attack 1 at range 2 and stun. We'll do an attack 1 on number 5. 1 damage is enough to kill him. Now Mind Thief takes damage from the retaliate from the elite, and ice is created. Then it would be the Tinkerer. We will go with just a move, and then heal 3 at range 3. We're going to heal 3 on the Mind Thief. And then the Cragheart. So he's going to just do a move 2 for more loot, but also so he's not adjacent. He's disadvantaged, attack of 1, which is going to muddle number 6. So we get +0, +0. So 1 damage on number 6 pound and muddled. We get stamina potion to get 2 cards back. So we do 1 final attack with this guy.
How's the mommy to be? I feel I've been dating multiple women.
We get back. An attack 3 at range 3 and an early initiative. That should be good enough. So that's what we're playing for the Cragheart. Spellweaver. We want to go nice and early again. Okay, so we'll go with a 20. Tinkerer is going to long rest, which means the Mind Thief. We've got no actually no ranged attack. Now a rat is going to take retaliate damage from the hound, but poison it. So let's just do a strong attack, and then move and heal ourselves. That's a good option on an 11. And then yeah, Tinkerer's long resting. So that's everybody. The hound, a 19. He has no friends anymore, so that doesn't affect us. So rat will move up. It's an attack of 2 +2 and creates ice. So 4 damage and a poison. And the rat takes 2 damage. Does still have 4 hit points left, so that's not too terrible. Then we'll use that ice. We're doing an attack 5, attack 4, kills it. And then we've got move 2, heal 2 south in the bottom here. So we'll move 2 and heal 2. Okay. And we've got nothing else to do on here. So we're just going to do a move 2 and not lose any cards for our Cragheart. And a Spellweaver. We'll go. We don't have a big move. Could do a large heal. Not going to have many cards left. But we could get all our cards back just as we're opening a door, so that's no problem. Yeah, let's do a heal 4 on our Tinkerer. Puts him back at 5 hit points. And then we've got nothing else to do with this one. And that heal is lost. Okay, so the Spellweaver is going to want a long rest this turn. The Tinkerer is long resting this turn, so he gets his 2 hit points. Gets his Boots of Striding back. And I lose one of these cards. We lose our decoy. It's done its job. I think we used it as a heal. And Mystic Ally lost his model because he didn't get any attack. So we sort of just want to make a quick beeline for these doors now and see what's beyond them. Spellweaver's resting though. Cragheart is resting. So we've just got the Mind Thief and the Tinkerer. And the Mind Thief only has one more turn left in him. And then he is going to probably short rest, so that's not a big problem. Can a Tinkerer? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He does have his Boots of Striding back, doesn't he, from resting? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he should get in there. Let's go for it. So we're going on a 16 for the Tinkerer. And which attack should we pop on top? We'll just go with a big attack. Attack 3 after a move 6, which we'll use our boots as well. The Spellweaver and Mind Thief's. Mind Thief could go after a 16. Okay, we'll go slower with the Mind Thief so that the rats can have a focus, although they're going to end up... Oh no, they're not going to move anyway, so we'll go on an 8. Do I want the Cragheart not to do anything? Maybe that's a bit risky. He's got a lot of cards, and he's got a lot of hit points. We're just going to short rest the Cragheart. So let's lose a card at random. Do I care particularly about that one? think I do particularly. So I'll lose that. Maybe I want to do with a crack out. We could get him to move up. Still going to add a target, so massive folder is quite good fun. And then, which one to use for movement? Maybe he'll go first on a 13 just as a move 2. That should be fine. Let's see what happens with that. So Spireweaver is resting again, but the Mystic Ally will have a focus. So Mind Thief is first. 1, 2. We're using move 3, attack 1. So 2 movement to get to there. Let's have a look what happens through the door. You see the Prophet standing at the back of a small room at the end of the hall. No doubt she also stands at the back of the other room at the end of the other hall. You finally have her cornered, but she doesn't look concerned. You do not understand the infinite strands of time spreading out in all directions, she states. You cannot hope to defeat me. Special rules. Immediately open the other door. Both the elite cultists on the B tiles together are the Prophet. Okay, so let's set this room up. So we have Spirit and a Spirit. So both the elite cultists on the 2 B tiles together are the Prophet. They each have health times the number of characters divided by 2, where H is the elite cultist's regular hit points. So 24 hit points these guys have. At the end of each round, remove damage from the more damaged of the 2 cultists until they have the same amount of damage, and remove any negative conditions that is not affecting both of them. If one of the cultists has damage equal to or greater than its hit point, it only dies at the end of the round after the cultist's hit points are evened out. So one can only die if the other also dies. In addition, the Prophet gains advantage for all its attacks. The Prophet cannot enter or pass through doors number 2. There is also traps here and here, which are damage traps. So I've got still 1 more movement, but let's have a look. The living spirits need a shuffle. The cultists are summoning normal living spirits and suffering 2 damage. So of course they are. Why would they not be summoning? Living spirits are cursing, targeting all on a 55. Oh great, we haven't even dealt with all the curses we had previously. So at this difficulty, traps are 4 damage. I think it's better to stun the cultist. Oh, but it would suffer 2 damage if it does summon something else out. Okay, we'll move here, and at range 2, we're going to do an attack 1, which also stuns and creates ice. +1. So 2 damage on the elite spirit. Does nothing, but does stun him. Living spirit number 1. So there's no curses coming from him. And that is the Mind Thief done. I'm gaining an XP. The Cragheart is then on a 13, so this door is open as well. So we have attack 3 at range 3. So we're going to move two, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yep, that's fine. Creates Earth. Attack 3 on the Living Spirit. +1, so 1 damage on Living Spirit 2. And then on the Cultist, a -2, so only 1 damage, disappointingly, on Cultist number 1, who is our main target for the scenario. All we have to do is kill the Prophet. It's discarded. Okay. Then a 16, it would be the Tinkerer. So we have move of 6, attack 3. So I could go either way. Let's try and kill the Living Spirit here, since the other one is stunned. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, +2 from our boots. Attack 3 at range 3. +0, so just 1 more damage. Okay. The card is lost for 1 XP. Now it's discarded. Okay, so then the Living Spirit number 1 is stunned. This one moves up and will curse and create ice. So 2 curses, 1 for the Cragheart, 1 for the Tinkerer. That's not Tinkerer. 1 for the Tinkerer. And then 2 damage each for number 1 and number 3 Cultist. It would be actually number 6 Cultist, so their hit points are opposite each other. And they'll summon normal Living Spirits, which is quite frustrating. And then at the end of the round, their hit points level out, so they've only taken 2 hit points of 24. This will move up 2 towards the closest. Yep. Yeah. And that's about either. I'll lose a card. Okay. So my Thief is going to short rest.
Had their fingers in lots and lots of pies. Now they're back after 10 whole years. American reunion in half an hour. Even Stifler's mum's invited. Then Ryan Reynolds and Denzel Washington are hanging out in the safe house. Well, unsafe house more like. And that's tomorrow at 9.
I think I probably should have sent one of these two guys the opposite direction, because both the Mind Thief and if the Spy Weaver's going this way, they don't have many cards left.
It's the semi-final. So this is it. There's just 5 inkers left. And the shirts are coming off.
So go with a 7. He's Spellweaver. Mind Thief. I think we just want to pile some big damage on the cultists. So we'll play a couple of lost cards, but 2 decent attack cards on an 11. So the Tinkerer will want to get in and deal some damage.
It's all it looks like.
Now the fighting makes sense.
Scott's home early.
You can't make it to dinner. Dinner makes it to you. Forgot the party's on.
No, actually, if I can go for the 4, no. If I could get the Spellweaver to put a wound on one side, that would be useful, but I don't think that's going to be possible.
What happened?
Termites and into her was romantic. I just made sure he saw this. New Nescafe cold cappuccino, enriched coffee taste.
We do an attack for.
That lasts till the last sip. Endlessly delightful in every
I think this Tinker is then going to run off to try and help the other way, and the Spellweaver can come this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. You can actually get some attacks in this turn. The Tinkerer can chuck an attack down and run. You won't get in for a couple more turns though.
Because it's fluffed up with micro-air pockets, so it's also soft and absorbent. Michelle, soft as you can't move around.
This was the week we discovered that churrascos Brazil for barbecue.
Guys, come and see what I bought.
Wow, look at that. Big ribs with barbecue sauce. Churrasco sauce.
That might be what we need to do.
It was already skewed, so easy to turn, easy to undo.
Ah,
Quality was just top.
tricky. I can deal an awful lot of damage to one of these guys, but it doesn't help us.
Experience our newest Thomas Lamb ride and get 4 tickets for £80 and a free book at written.co.uk. Harsh summer, heavy winter, cold water. Is your coloured hair under attack? Discover LB's one and only Colour Protect, Britain's #1 for coloured hair. For your fiery reds, dazzling blondes, and blazing brunettes. A luxurious formula enriched with linseed oil helps protect colour radiance for up to 10 weeks. And it's vibrant and lustrous. Colour Protect by L'Oreal LV. We're all with it. The House of Fraser brand event. Up to 30% off this season's styles. Shop now at House of Fraser.
Okay, we're gonna go big with the Crow card as well over here. So that's 2 decent attacks over here. And the Spellweaver will go over there. The Tinkerer will come as support as well. That should be fine. Don't know. I feel I may have made the wrong choices on where they move, but we're going to go very early with this. Oh, no, Living Spirits don't need a shuffle, so they're going on a 48. Cultists need a shuffle.
Like getting your money's worth, enjoy a 99p cheeseburger. Part of the McDonald's chicken menu.
63, they are summoning again, so that's pretty terrible for us. But at least they're taking 2 further damage, which is something. So the Spell Weaver's first, so this guy's going to move up, but isn't within range. Then I've got a move 4 jump, 1, 2, 3, 4. Attack at range 3, so that does nothing. Or recover all lost cards. Maybe that's going to be better. Yeah, we'll do heal on the rat instead. And recover all lost cards. So creating Knight. That one's lost. We'll get these ones back. We'll leave the Mystic Ally out because he'll actually do something next turn. And we'll have to use our move 8, but at least we can get in there and then we'll have more cards. So that's probably a better option. Get all our cards back. Then on an 11, we've got our rats. So the closest hex to attack from, same either direction, so he'll move that way. I don't really feel he's going to get into the action. We've got a move 4 attack 2. Actually first, attack 4 range 5 disarm, creating frost at range. Is that going to be a better option? We could disarm a living spirit, but we're planning an attack 4 and an attack 4. So if we're doing, yeah, we've got to do our big attack. +0. So that's 4 damage on cultist. 6. For 2 XP, and that card is lost. And then move 4 attack 2. So go there. And this is an attack 4 again. -1, so 3 more damage. So that's up to 9. That card is also lost. Okay, and then Cragheart. We're going to use the Earth for a move 4 jump. So we jump to there. Our Tinkerer takes 2 damage. Both of these guys, number 2 and number 4. So number 4 is definitely just dead. He was a summon though. Number 2 has taken damage, so he is dead. And cultist number 1 takes 2 damage. For 2 XP, and that card's lost. And then attack 4 from our kinetic assault. -2, so just 2 more damage. So that's 6 damage on that side, and 9 on that one. That card is not lost. Tinkerer. We're then going to do an attack 4 at range 3. So hitting this guy. Ah, that's annoying. Curse. For 1 XP. And then move 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So then, Living Spirit, number 1 will not move because he's ranged. So this is an attack 3, 2 damage, and then an attack 2, no damage. Okay. And then each side will take 2 damage. I'll actually just take 1 off there. And then I'll summon a normal living spirit. So the Mind Thief will go on 8. Spell Weaver.
Okay, but you and I have been keeping things casual. Will you introduce me as your friend or as your girlfriend?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'll want a ranged attack.
It wasn't this hard with Bon Jovi. I said, you rock. He said, thanks, man. And what's that?
So we'll go slow. Try and get in there. Mind Thief is going to be dead.
I found that scratch this book about wine tasting. It teaches the different flavor notes to look for. You actually smell the wine? I mostly just smell my nasal spray. Your sinus is acting up? My pulse go down a bunch.
Cragheart.
Hey, are you still hanging out for next week?
Yes, and we're going to prove that we don't need alcohol to enjoy ourselves. Or caffeine, tobacco, sushi, soft cheese, processed meat, and jacuzzis, which can all be harmful to an unborn baby.
No honey makes me out of a hot tub, got it.
Cragheart going to 21 is going to deal a sizable damage attack.
Swordfish, king mackerel, shark, or tilefish draw high mercury.
Believe it or not,
Oh, no contact with guinea pigs or hamsters or their droppings. No cat litter boxes. No paint fumes.
okay, really, let me buy it.
Boy, do I love restrictions.
So we'll move and heal because we haven't got much else we can do. We'll do it slowly as well for the Tinkerer, just in case anything comes within our range, but I doubt it very much. So, Living Spirits, 48, just to move and attack the cultists.
So Charles and the birds that are hanging out. I don't know. I really don't know.
Sorry, distracted watching TV. For goodness sake, cultists are summoning again. If I survive long enough, at least they'll eventually kill themselves, I suppose, but it's not a great solution to this.
Oh, she's meeting us here. Hey guys, do me a favor and we'll ask 3 questions about the relationship.
So, first on an 8.
I shouldn't ask her how she feels about being a member of their camp. Yeah, I know you're teasing, but watch out for Pueblo.
Hey, Jenny, this is your old boyfriend, Zach.
We do move 4 and stun. Target 1 adjacent enemy. So we're going to stun number 6, and then attack 3, attack 5, because he's got a negative condition on himself. Attack 7, because of our Mind's weakness. 7, 8 damage. That's him up to 16 on that side. Let's hope the Cragheart can fulfill his side of the deal, because both those cards are lost for 2 experience. And then that is our Mind Thief effectively out. He has no cards in his discard, no cards in his hand. 21, it will be the Cragheart next. So we're going to do +2 attack to all your melee, attack of 4, use the leaf for an attack of 8. There's no wind, so it's just a straight attack of 8. Just got a healing potion. Attack of 9. That's pretty good. 16 and 17, so it's going to heal down to 16. Then he's only got 8 more hit points, so that's 3 hit points from that, and that was discarded. Then living spirits. So they need to shuffle. This is going to be the death of the Mind Thief, and then probably the death of the Mystic Ally. So number 1 with a -1. So that's 2 damage on the Mind Thief, so he's got 2 left. Number 4 misses. Number 6 kills the Mind Thief. Okay, but that at least took all the attacks. And then the cultists are each going to take 2 damage and summon another friend for us. So 2 damage, and that's effectively 1 damage. Oh, actually, number 6 won't take any damage or summon because he was stunned. So that's actually stopped them from taking 2 extra damage this turn. It's a bit frustrating. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here they are. I knew we hadn't run out just yet. Too easy. Oh, this guy as well would move back 1 and attack the Cragheart. 2 damage. Okay.
Treat yourself with free vouchers. £10 when you spend 100, or £5 when you spend 50.
I'm going to short rest Cragheart. It's okay, I can use that one. So I want to use that sword again. Spellweaver. Sorry, Tinker is next.
You have a big influence on your kids, so teach them the life lesson of cooking.
She's going to move 2, and then he's got heal 3 at range 3, so it just heal himself. And the Mystic Ally, first of all, will move up and attack 3 against number 4. 3 damage, 1 shield. And then the Spellweaver will move 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got attack 3, wound 2. So actually, put that damage that was back on then, because this might make a difference. Attack 2 from the Spellweaver, times 2, 4 damage. Excellent. But then it's the end of the round, so that's going to heal. So it'll be down to 3. So that's 19 damage on each of them, due to some heroics from the Spellweaver at the end there. 19. So we've got 5 more damage we need to deal. Spellweaver's going to want to go nice and early because he's right in the middle of it all. He can shield himself. Or we could move and do an attack 2 against everyone. Or shield up and do an attack 2. No, we can't do an attack on everyone, can we? Can't get in the middle. Let's shield up and just do an attack 2 on the boss. Actually, we might be able to get into the middle because the Mystic Ally might attack first. Tinker is going to short rest because his move 4 is in the discard. But that is not it, so that's fine. So we want to play our move 4 because then we can get in on the action.
Some pools are too important to drop. That's why we've made our network bigger and better. Vodafone, the UK's #1 network for voice.
Wonder if I twisted Oreo open would that
1, 2, 3, 4.
let me know kid that I used to be is still right here inside of me. Dunk with Oreo. Buy a pack and start out for your chance to win at
I think we'll go slowly and hope the cultist moves forward 1 to attack the Spellweaver, because then I could pull him onto a trap. So we'll go slowly. And we'll see if that plays out in our favour. The Mind Thief is dead. The Cragheart wants to use his +2 attack again.
Locked Up is the hottest series ever to come out of Spain. Into a worldwide phenomenon. The sexy shot
We can get a decent attack in on him again. That may be enough. So we're going fairly quick for the Spellweaver and the Cragheart. Living Spirits are 75. Move attack +1 and then a heal on themselves. The cultists a move and attack on a 27. Okay, so we're first with the Spellweaver on a 7. So the Mystic Ally will attack number 4. It needs to shuffle. Oh, these decks are so big with all the curse cards. Okay. So right, we've drawn a few of them back out. Yes, that's not one. So that is an attack of 4, which would be enough to kill him. That was a summon, so no loot. The Spellweaver, he's going to shield himself up. So the next 2 sources of damage, he takes no damage. And creates ice. Well, technically creates ice at the end of the turn. We're then going to do an attack 2 against the cultist. 2 and create fire. 4 damage. Okay. Then the Cragheart +2 to attacks, and then move 1 attack 4, but we aren't going to move. We're just going to do attack of 6 +0. We get rid of these 4, put another 10 down. So that's 25 damage actually on this side of the table, but 23 over there. So they're going to survive unless we can do more damage, but that once again has worked really well for us. Tinkerer was on a 72, so first will be the cultist. He's going to move up. He's going to attack +1, but we just shield to gain an XP. Then it's actually the Tinkerer. So move 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Unfortunately, still out of range. But we can turn a single targeted ranged attack into the following with our volatile bomb. So we will choose to do that. So we're going to target the cultist first of all. Attack 2, -1, 1 damage. And pull 2. So we'll pull him onto the trap for another 4 damage. just for goodwill. And then against the living spirit,
He wants to see ID.
attack of 2, 1 shield, 1 damage for living spirit number 6. There's both discarded. Then it's a living spirit.
Boy, he gets dirty looks over there.
Now we get number 1
Zach, this is my.
attacks
You see anybody?
and kills the mystic ally.
What's he being casual? Why is he being casual?
Number 2 attacks the Cragheart
She seems great.
for 3 damage. Number 3, remove 2 to avoid disadvantage. -1, so 2 damage.
Baby on the way. I gotta make some money.
What good is money gonna do if we can't
And 2 heals.
That's
That's a, yeah, 2 heals, 3 healing.
Because someone from the
Number
future.
6. Move 1 and attack the Spellweaver, which is shielded for just another XP. And both the cultists have reached 24 hit points. We have 25 and we have 28. So they will not be healing and getting back from this one. The prophet grunts as you strike her one last time. A look of confusion crosses her face. A mistake, she whispers. I thought I understood. Your path. It opens up before you, but this path, for me, is closed. She falls over, and as she lands, the 2 hallways and 2 rooms snap back into focus and instantly merge together, forming but a single hall, a single room, and a single corpse of a white-robed orchid on the ground. With the prophet dead, you return to Ashtooth in the ruined tunnels as planned. The orchids display little emotion as you relate what took place in the keep. They simply nod their heads and offer a reserved thanks. This is good, Ashtooth says. We had doubts the plan would succeed, but now the prophet's followers will disperse and return home. And you will once again have your freedom. Ashtooth leads you through another set of winding, forking paths until you arrive at an archway leading into the open air. Ahead you see a number of small ships moored to a pier. We must stay behind to see the rest of our plan through, Ashtooth says. But you should go. Take a ship and be free. As you go to leave, Ashtooth holds out a talisman to you. Take this, he says. With it, you will always be welcome among my people. They are but a short journey from where we are. The Quattrels are farther south along the coast, and the one who sold you, I suspect he is heading back towards the western continent. Well, we had our difficulty when it was just going to be the Mind Thief and the Spellweaver heading that way, but I forgot we had the move 8 with our Spellweaver. I was worried the Cragheart would die and it would be a couple of turns before anyone could get over there. But a nice recover all cards and then a move 8 sort of jumped the Spellweaver straight into the midst of it. Probably the 2 biggest dealing characters I had left, the Cragheart and Tinkerer, probably shouldn't have both come over to this door. We did get slowed down a little with all the curse cards. We ended drawing up a few of them back out. But yeah, that was quite a tricky scenario. I think we summoned, on 3 of 4 rounds, I think the cultist summoned another living spirit out, which makes it increasingly hard, but ultimately all we had to do was take out the cultist, and that's all I planned to do. The fact that Yeah, so it was probably made easier by the summoning of the spirits because that did 6 damage and even damage as well. So they were never going to heal up from that damage because both of them took it equally, which meant we only had to deal 18 damage ourselves. So literally, she took out a quarter of her own hit points. Granted, probably getting an attack of 2, or what is it, attack 2? Yeah, attack 2 from a cultist would be preferable. But summoning the spirits wasn't too bad for us. I hope I didn't make too many mistakes with that. Talking through what I was planning for 4 characters as well took a lot of focus to sort of keep track of what I was doing. I don't think it took us too long to get through what we were doing. I think we wrapped up in under 2 hours, so half hour per player. It's pretty much on par with what you'd expect. Just to sort of show a time scale on how it plays through. You do get a grander sense of adventure with 4 players, because there's obviously a lot more sort of monsters on the board, but equally, you know, with half as many characters, you don't have as much potential. If we had to send the Mind Thief to deal with that by ourselves, we probably would have failed because we didn't have the other characters to back us up, and just an inopportune critical hit on the Mind Thief, making us lose 2 cards from our discard to mitigate the damage, was pretty costly, but we covered up for the Mind Thief exhausting. I believe everyone's managed their battle goals as well. The Cragheart was Explorer. He revealed a rune tile by opening the door, so that was fine. The Tinkerer is the only person who has no loot, so he successfully completed his goal. The Mind Thief was taking only short rests, and the Spellweaver was the opposite, taking only long rests, and I believe I got those both the right way round the whole way through. That was my intention. So a couple of check marks for us. We also gained 20 experience each and an item, the Empowering Talisman.
We all know that America invented obesity, which is why they've come up with this. You're about to infringe more
So
than
this is a head item, helmet. During your turn, refresh one of your consumed small bag items. So that's quite nice. Second use on a stamina potion or a heal potion or a stun powder, any of those sort of small little effects are very useful. So, made it look easy. I'm not sure about that. I was fairly certain I was going to lose it up until we got a couple of nice hits. What did we have? Okay, so they were fairly well mixed through all those curse cards. Critical hit, curse, curse, or 2 in a row, curse. Yeah, so there's a +2 nice. I think the fact that Cragheart managed to avoid all the curses at the start was pretty fortuitous. If anything, I could just be certain he was just going to deal steady damage, which is why I sent the other 3 over there. I probably should have tried to avoid all the extra curses. The way that I played the scenario, getting out the summons, did mean that curse effect was doubly bad. 16 curses in 1 turn is pretty horrific. We used the goggle to avoid a few of those though, which was quite nice. But yeah, that was good fun actually. An interesting sort of boss ability as well to heal. You've got to deal even damage. You can't just focus down one of them. and if one of them does die, you still have to kill the other one, otherwise it just comes back. So yeah, that was a good ability. Not something we've seen. I don't know if it is in the main campaign. It might be. There's sort of, I don't know, 80%, 70% of the scenarios I've not done, but I do like that he's just mixing about some different sort of things in here and just not putting in sort of the same type of scenarios that we get in the main game. So might be something we'll look at, doing all the other winding scenarios sort of as a community, and make this so it could be a separate booklet, a little branching storyline of your own, but I think it would have to be very different to how the main book reads. Otherwise, this will spiral out of control into a million scenarios before too long. Wish I had more watches. Yeah, it's quite early in the day for Europe. Well, it's 9 o'clock now. I think it was it 6 or 7, half 6 when I started. But it's one of those things. A lot of people don't want to get spoiled for this sort of thing if they haven't got the game, and it is a bit of a time investment to just watch through. I'm quite sad with the fact that I've got up to date with Alucard's stream. I'm up to date with his main campaign and up to date with his mini campaign, so I'm fairly sure he has to put in like a 24-hour stream sometime soon, otherwise what am I going to do with my time off? 10 p.m. Oh, okay, yeah, in Europe. Yeah, so it gets a bit late. But much appreciated having you guys along. Only one more scenario, which is going to be a bit sad. Obviously, we've not stopped doing our main campaign. It's sort of a race to retirement in our campaign. There's, I think, 3 of us, possibly a 4th who's keeping a little koi, which may be retiring in a scenario or 2. So we're sort of racing to see who can retire, but also possibly holding off, because we are only a few prosperity away from, or a few check marks away from increasing prosperity in our main Gloomhaven campaign. So whoever does retire last could actually retire at a higher level.
With childhood obesity as an all-time high, I'm sure that's why Charlie has Jake's best interest at heart, and that's why he keeps stealing.
Got a bit lost in my actions, yeah. I'm not sure. I need to try and get a mount possibly to zoom this back. It's just a mouse pad I got printed out to try and show the cards with 4 actions. It was a bit hard to fit everything in, so you could keep an eye on what's going on. And if you're not watching on a monitor or TV, I imagine that box in the corner is quite small anyway, but for my sake, so I wouldn't keep forgetting to transition back to the main camera, I thought I'd just leave it as a little picture-in-picture. But if you are watching it, you may be able to make out initiative numbers and sort of keep track of what's going on. I'm not sure. I think all of those might be legible, but yeah, it's one of those games. It's probably on a 2 feet width by 3 foot, so it's not a lot of table space. I do leave the rest of my stuff generally sort of sitting, waiting, just at the end of the table. So I do take up more space than I need to, just because we play this so often. There's no point me sort of packing it away. Yeah, that's it. Zoom out too much and nothing's readable, but you can see more of it, or zoom in too much and it's sort of squished in. It's a hard compromise. I've been toying with the idea of putting a web insert, which you've got the Gloomy Companion, which does the attack modifier decks and the monster stat abilities and things, which you could put into a picture, and that might be clearer than having sort of the ability cards down here. But I think it works enough to get the point across for the game. Obviously, if you have the game and sort of play it, then you kind of get a feel for what the stat cards are. As I'm talking about it, I feel for me watching Alucard do his stream, it's easier because I have the game and sort of I know what the monster stats are. I know what their shields are. Obviously, the ability sheets over here. If I put them sort of at the bottom of the camera, the map's far away and you can't see the action. If I put those away, you can't. So it's always a compromise of what goes in the big portion of the screen. So yeah, trying to figure which is probably the more interesting bit to keep an eye on. Probably the action on the map rather than the health and stats. So I played around with it a bit. Some of the times I have had it in front, low down, sometimes further back. But yeah, do appreciate you guys coming along for the journey. We've got one more decision to make on this. I didn't actually read out what our choices were at the end. So let's load up the tablet again. So we were going off on a ship. We had a choice again, sort of mirroring the initial choice we had of what we were going to do with our boats. We could either sail east towards the Orchids, sail south towards the Quattrons, or sail west back towards Gloomhaven, where it alludes that perhaps Barty may be. So yeah, it's sort of, do you want to go full circle, or do we set ourselves up perhaps with a new adventure? Possibly if we do go east to the Orchids or south towards the Quattrons, it might be where Isaac decides to pick the campaign up. After this, I'm purely speculating. It may be you could decide to just go off and do a completely different adventure with entirely separate characters on a whole new branch. So it may just be setting us up for one final hurrah on scenario 10. I haven't decided on my plans for streaming on the 1st. Somehow, amazingly, despite working in retail, I have the 1st of May off. In the UK, that's a bank holiday day, which I tend to never get off. So I may do more streaming. I will be spending a bit of social time with my other half, rather than neglecting her for the whole day. Oh, you're working? Oh, okay. Well, that makes my plans somewhat easier. I won't have to feel so bad about playing board games all day. Heard it here first, guys. Got the okay. So I may do a stream throughout the day. I'm away over this weekend for a stag do, so I may need a lot of sleep and it may not happen. So I'm not going to set anything in stone. I'll have to wait and see how delicate I feel after the weekend. But hopefully do something a bit special as our final farewell to the campaign, both the Kickstarter funding campaign and this sort of mini expedition campaign. And thank you guys for coming along on the journey with us. It's been really fun to have the company along when I've been playing solo. And sorry if I ignored you at times when we're playing in a group. I don't get as much time to sort of gather my thoughts. But yeah, I'll sign off for the night, let you guys get a decent night. If it's 10 o'clock in Europe, that's well past bedtime, mate. Get in bed. Even if it's a weekend. Cool. I shall see you guys on May the 1st. Emotional farewell. Bye for now.